So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. And man, yesterday turned into another dumpster fire. It's been happening with increasing frequency. I thought after that FOMC, man, we're going to 4,000. Everything's really good. And then overnight action was bad. And most of our trading session was okay. They did crawl back some of those losses, but then later in the day, whoosh. Oh man, it was ugly. It was ugly. And then it got a little bit sideways after that. But why? Well, I mean, the 10-year Treasury also took a dump here. Now it got some reprieve after the European close. So I'm a little suspicious about that. But it seems like it may have something to do with foreign flows here. And man, that's low. I mean, we zoom back here on the 10-year. I mean, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad losses in the bonds. Okay. So that's kind of our framework. And then, across the board, oil getting pummeled. Yesterday, it was funny because we were earlier in the week we were like, oh, this is a bad move. This is a bad move. Look at that, man. Look at that. From 64 to 59, almost $5 in a day. What? Whoosh. And that might have something to do with the equity weakness as well. And gold and silver, I wouldn't say that they're doing great. I mean, look at that. That was gold was up almost as high as 53. Silver, almost, 26.75 or so. I would like to see silver above 27. I don't think it's going to happen. But hey, it's Friday, option expiration day. Anything can happen, but gold and silver, they're just kind of doing okay. And the dollar. So the dollar lost a lot after the Federal Reserve meeting, and then yesterday it recovered pretty much all of its losses. Now overnight it started to get weak again, but it's flipped right back up. So it's really hard to say what is going on, but clearly this idea that okay, everything's cool. Federal Reserve's going to keep everything low, so we can just keep buying, and we're going to go straight to 4,000. Not happening. Not happening. Maybe it's just options expiration. So things are definitely kind of set up. I think everybody gets excited. I mean, I always did about options expiration, and the last hour of trading can be really crazy. But I've come to find that usually options expiration days are pretty dull. So, and then after all of that gamma expires, then crazy things happen. So we're kind of set for a move next week. But for now, we just kind of wait it out and see what happens. Oh yeah, by the way, also in Bitcoin, funny enough, Bitcoin, this is a good reason to buy. And so at one point they were above 6,000. They gave up their gains, but they didn't come all the way back down, right? So here again, it's like everything is good for Bitcoin. Oh, the Federal Reserve is going to continue printing money. Well, that should be good for Bitcoin. I would agree with that one. But then it was like, oh, actually, that's not going to happen. Well, it's still good for Bitcoin. Okay, whatever. What do you think about the Wall Street Tax Act? They're not going to tax anybody, so I wouldn't worry about it. Yes, had a 1,000 lot at 39.15. Really? Here in the pre-market? Go along on the like button. So is that the one like that we have so far? Is that you, Kyle? You're pretty concerned. Well, you shouldn't be. They don't have a 60 vote majority to do jack squat. So the chances of them being able to raise taxes on anybody is pretty low at the moment. You'd have to get Joe Manchin on board with it and Christian Siema, and those are the only two that matter. And they are both like no new taxes. So some of these more burdensome taxes, especially like a financial transaction tax, is almost zero chance of it happening. Okay, so let's turn on our text-to-speech stuff, and even though I like almost never use it anymore, Discord. Move over here to TweetDeck. Germany plans another 70 billion in debt spend. Well, 70 billion, that's nothing. That's nothing. Drop in the bucket. When you're dropping $1 trillion a pop in the United States, 70 billion in Germany, and nothing. Tesla cars banned by the Chinese military on interior camera concerns. Oh no. Oh yes. So I made a comment on the on Bitcoin on one of the oh my gosh, man, I'm gonna have to go back here, but somebody oh, it was Google Schmidt was like saying, oh, people are just gonna use Bitcoin for everything, and then that's gonna hurt the dollar and everything. And I laughed at it because you can't use Bitcoin for anything like that. And now a bunch of people are like, oh, Lightning Network and all of these things, and eventually it will be there. No, I'm sorry, but the trajectory that Bitcoin is going on is the opposite. Is the opposite of that. But man, there was way so much activity on that. People don't like me. People don't like me, but you know what? That, oh, I don't need to know about every like on the sub comments. Good grief. Yeah, Lightning Network. Yeah, that's what they said 2 years ago. Actually, it was more than 2 years ago, wasn't it? Well, 17, 18, 19, 20. Mm-hmm. Oh, the Butters did not like me. My, oh my. Oh, I got 2 retweets on that too? Huh. Yeah, but probably like nobody followed me off of it. Economy Secretary here in Brazil wants to do that. 10-cent tax on every single transaction if it gets hated here. Imagine it. Oh man. Well, yeah, this is a liberal pipe dream grandstanding thing, right? Like, I know that people get caught up in that, but you've got to realize that when a politician says something and that has no chance of passing in the Senate, they're not saying it because they think it would be a good law. They're saying it because they think you'll like it, right? And they will propose all sorts of really irresponsible and stupid things that could never pass, but that they know their base will love, simply because they want their base to love them, right? But a financial transaction tax it's not going to happen. Well, oh, and then somebody responded to this one. Yeah. Yeah, how much of that were you guys hearing? Oh man. Okay. I was reading through all of the notifications here. Do you want to see them? Let me go back here. So here was Eric Schmidt. As the Bitcoin network grows, the value of Bitcoin grows. As people move into Bitcoin for payments and receipts, they stop using US dollars, euros, and Chinese yuan, which in the long term devalues these currencies. And I said, using Bitcoins for payments and receipts. Haha, good one, guys. Bitcoin bulls better hope that Schmidt doesn't try doing this himself and discover all of the issues that make actual use of Bitcoin impractical at the moment. Okay, so then a couple of people actually did acknowledge that, like, at the moment, you can't really do it. They're like, way to cover your ass there with at the moment. Okay, yeah, but you got to ask yourself, like, at the moment, Bitcoin is unusable. It was unusable in 2017. It's been 3 years now. They still haven't fixed that problem. And in fact, when you look at the governance of Bitcoin and the changes that they make and the direction that the cryptocurrency community is going right now, it is away from being able to actually use it. They are intentionally making it difficult to use, which is a little concerning if you're in Bitcoin, right? Oh, and then there's people, you're so smart. Okay, well. Bunch of people that just don't know what's going on, and then this one guy gave. But I actually, how many did I get? 57 likes from that? Wow. Okay, then. But did anybody actually follow me off of it? I don't think they did. I have 250 lowly followers. Twitter sucks, man. I've put some effort into Twitter and I just don't get many followers over there. So I see Brandon wants to go short A. It's not working out so well for him so far, is it A? Well, we don't really got much news in the U.S. today. Baker Hughes total rig count at 11. And you're looking at the market, well, it's moved a decent amount since we've started, but it is once again pretty quiet. So I don't know if we get... I guess I need to make videos about cryptocurrency to piss everybody off, right? Non-fungible tulips. I'm not sure what proportions this is ironic or real. What? Wait, what? It's a Twitter account. Non-fungible tulips is here waiting for your crypto love. There are over 100 at nonfungibletulips.com. Only 67 are left for sell-auction, guys. Giveaway details pinned in the tweets. Oh man, we gotta jump on this now before they're all gone. Gosh. Dude, what the heck? That is funny. If an indicator gives isolated signal readings, it's kind of... I'm not sure what you mean by isolated signal readings. Listen, if it's an indicator and you can clearly identify a signal on the indicator, there is a way to automate it. It might require really sophisticated math and stuff, but there's a way to automate it. Coinbase reveals U.S. state probes as it seeks to go public. Really? So I'm waiting for HF to respond here again. Someone would want to know what the signal is. Well, it kind of depends on what. The first thing is what kind of an indicator is. Is it an oscillator? Is it a band? or a moving average. So you're basically your three choices. The developer might not share the math behind it, but you still get the output of the indicator, right? And the question is, what does the output look like? And what is the signal that you claim happens? There's also non-fungible Pringles, and no, you can't eat them. What? Oh my gosh, guys. Falling for it with open eyes, a new definition, a new low of stupidity. Yeah, you can message me on Discord. You just message me on Discord and you'll show me a picture, but we can be general enough that like you don't have to share the indicator, and it's kind of more what is. So here's what I'm asking though, is like, okay, you've got a couple of different types of indicators, right? Use a small thing. So one thing is you might have your bars here, and there's moving averages, right? There's a moving average. It could also be bands, right? It could also be an oscillator down at the bottom here, right? Now, an oscillator usually is between like 0 and 100, but it could also, well, I guess we could give another reading, and that would just be like an actual number reading, like volume. Like volume would be like that, but a subplot, essentially, right? So we go on like maybe those four choices, right? There's those four choices, and then the question is, what is the actual signal? What is the thing that you're looking for? So is it when this thing makes a higher low, or, you know, there might be some internal pattern bit that you're trying to read on it that makes it more difficult, but you can always do it. Them bonds getting slaughtered again. This time. Oh, now that's interesting. Actually appears to be buying in the 5 and selling in the 10. So some steepening of the curve again. New York City man sells fart for $85, cashing in on a non-fungible token craze. The heck? Well, now that I've got my daily dose of Bitcoin sucks, it sure doesn't look like they're ever going to stop these days, does it? Like, it's going sideways. Kind of looks to me, kind of seems like something that eventually pushes higher, huh? What will it take to pop the bubble? Wonder. Well, you think that it will get choppy with the quad witching? I don't know. Like, here's the thing. We're really close to 3,900. Probably they're just going to get stuck there, right? Twitter has locked Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene out to her account as Democrats ready a resolution to expel her from Congress. Yeah, good luck with that. It's not going to happen. I guess the thing is, I'm sure that there's going to be drama along the way, but just remember that on options expiration, we usually get pegged. Usually we get pegged, right? It just doesn't, nothing that interesting happens. It's only when like somebody decides to do something crazy at the end, or like there was other stuff going on that created a lot of uncertainty on the day, that, you know, then you can get wild volatility. But usually the case is that the options expiration day is actually quite calm. And then the week afterwards is when things get crazy. Maybe we should look to quantify that. Like, I bet you that we could go through and look at the daily range of options expiration days, and I'm going to bet you that it would be less than the average day. We could look at a distribution of it, and it would be like, here's what I would expect it to be like. Here's the distribution, and your distribution is going to be generally like this with a fat tail on what the range of days are, right? And so most days fit in here, right? Which is like, 10 points or something like that. Okay, that's a regular day. And I think that in option expiration day, it will be like, this will be a little bit narrower, but this tail will be a little bit thicker. And that's what I would expect for options expiration day. So there is a slight possibility of a crazy move, but usually it's calm. Who should and shouldn't invest their stimulus check? Asks Bloomberg. Stimulus that is blah, blah, blah. Many Americans will spend this cash on food, shelter, and other necessities. Even more will put it in a savings, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what is the answer? Oh, should you invest in Bitcoin? Okay. This is a trash article, to be honest. So the other things, international exposure, I guess that's not a bad idea. Value stocks in sectors such as industrials and financials, yes. In the 10-year, snapping back there. There's a higher puts ratio with strikes below 3,900. I mean, I understand that there's like this put call ratio, but the most likely thing that tends to happen is that we just settle at a certain gamma. So here's here's the thing. Market's pretty quiet right now, right? There's no news today. How are they going to move it? Take a lot of money to do it. So until I actually see some action that suggests that they're actually going to make a move like that, I'm probably just going to sit on my hands. Plus, we would really need to quantify that, don't we? On options expiration, is there a correlation between the put-call ratio and the probability of having a strong move that day? I guess we should remember, my recollection is that last options expiration was pretty good. Like, there was a pretty big move that day, wasn't there? Brain activity foreshadows stock price dynamics. Wait, what? U.S. research suggests scans offer better price predictions than the actual choices investors make. From never trading during the first 30 minutes to not returning to a stock for a third time, the financial investors now have a stack of superstitions for predicting stock price changes. Now, neuroscientists may have hit upon a more accurate prediction tool: scans of people's brain activity just before they make investment choices. A study in the Journal of Neuroscience suggests brain activity may be a better predictor of stock changes than prior market trends or the actual stocks people decide to invest in. Well, given that both of those things are not really very good predictors of stock price changes, I'm really skeptical that this brain activity is really statistically significant of an edge. Brian Nuston at Stanford University in California and his colleagues previously used the average brain activity of a group of people to predict which videos would go viral and which crowdfunding campaigns were the most likely to receive funding. Now they have applied the same principles as the stock market. They asked a group of volunteers to examine real stock price trends from 2015 as they were updated throughout a simulated trading session and bet on whether they would rise or fall. At the same time, they were using functional magnetic resonance imaging to measure activity in two brain areas: the nucleus accumbens, which is activated during rewarding experiences, and the anterior insula, which is associated with anxiety and risk avoidance. Past research has suggested that these areas are engaged right before people make a risky choice. I am viral? How is that? Because I got 54 likes on Twitter. It's so frustrating. It's like, that's like half of your Twitter followership. I don't have a lot of Twitter followers. People will interact with my Twitter account, but they don't follow it. I guess the people that are interested in the YouTube channel aren't really interested in YouTube, huh? That's the start. Anyways, based on the group's average brain activity, Nuston found that activity in the anterior insula could forecast when a stock's price would flip or change direction, and that these neuro forecasts were significantly more accurate than the participants' own predictions about which stocks would do well the next day, or predictions based on prior stock market trends. It opens up all these really fascinating questions like, is there information that's hidden in the brain that we could take advantage of, and do some people have better brain signals than others? Another question is whether people can access what's going on in their brains. Not everyone is convinced that brain scans hold the key to better financial forecasting. Professor David Tuckett, director of the Center for the Study of Decision-Making Uncertainty at University College of London, said, "I do think financial markets are best understood via social, psychological, and neuroscientific factors, but this is not to say that one can forecast individual stocks or the whole market. If you could, it would change the market anyways." Yeah, he's true. Nuston agrees that real-world forecasting may prove more complicated than his simplified laboratory scenario. Oh my, what is this? Something's going on. Since I don't know what's going on, I'm gonna hold. Okay. So the Fed is going to provide relief for this supplement. Oh, now why are the bonds selling on this? I should be selling this. Holy shnikes. Holy shnikes. But this is not bad. Why are they treating it like bad? Oh man, there's gold is getting creamed, the dollar is getting creamed, the S&P 500 got creamed. Fed announces temporary SLR changes to expire as scheduled. Ah, that is bad. I misread the piece of news. My, oh my. Well, now you get something that could make options expiration some crazy, right? Now we got something. So we need to come and look at the banks. We need to come and look at the banks. Fed decides against extending rule that allowed banks to relax capital levels. Thanks, Fed. Why didn't you tell us that on Wednesday? That was a piece of news that we could have traded, but there was such a bender of a move, and I didn't know what was going on. I'm okay with missing it. There was news, yeah. U.S. Federal Reserve says big bank leverage rule exemption will expire as scheduled on March 31st. The Treasury markets have stabilized. Big banks have plenty of capital. Any changes to the leverage ratio will not erode the overall strength of bank capital requirements, says the Fed. This is the SLR rule. The thing that, Zero Hedge was like, this is like the only thing that matters. Here's the full note. Federal Reserve Board on Friday announced that the temporary change to its supplementary leverage ratio, or the SLR, for bank holding companies will expire as scheduled on March 31st. Additionally, the board will shortly seek comment on measures to adjust the SLR. The board will take appropriate actions to assure that any changes to the SLR do not erode the overall strength of bank capital requirements. To ease strains in the Treasury market resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic and to promote lending to households and businesses, the board temporarily modified the SLR last year to exclude U.S. Treasury securities and central bank reserves. Since that time, the Treasury market has stabilized. However, because of the recent growth of supply of central bank reserves and the issuance of Treasury securities, the board may need to address the current design and calibration of the SLR over time to prevent strains from developing that could both constrain economic growth and undermine financial stability. To ensure that the SLR, which was established in 2014 as an additional capital requirement, remains effective in an environment of higher reserves, the board will soon be inviting public comment to several potential SLR modifications. The proposals and comments will contribute to ongoing discussions with the Department of the Treasury and other regulators on future work to ensure the resiliency of the Treasury market. Did you short the euro? Man. The dollar. Okay, so silver and gold at first initially were puked pretty hard, but they recovered that really quick and are actually higher now. Well, this sets up an interesting situation, doesn't it? Oh man, the E-mini took such a plunge. 20-point drop. Okay, so Goldman Sachs down 1.6%. You were short. Wow, man. You only took from 24 to 13. Man, you missed out on a whole 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. No, probably better that way, huh? That was, woo, okay. Well, they're retracing it. I don't know, man. How was I supposed to know it was going to extend? I know, right? Well, we didn't know what the news was. We were a good 30 seconds into it before we heard what the actual headline was, and when I read the actual headline, it didn't it wasn't clear what it was until the text came out. So that's a tough one. But I think the whole thing here is that the relaxing of the requirements basically makes it more difficult for large banks to hold treasuries. What was that? The Federal Reserve is letting SLR relief expire. Short the fucker again. Well, I could go short, but that long would have worked out if I had stuck to it, but Adam Button pointing out how not wanting to talk about it was the tell. Yes, so that is interesting. That the Federal Reserve didn't want anyone to say anything. Is this maybe why the treasuries were selling the way that they were? Was because they knew that the SLR relief wasn't coming and that was a hawkish message? The problem is that I don't know how to price that sort of a thing. Like, should the treasuries move lower now because of it? I don't know. Zero hedge. Zoltan is right again. Fed foaming runway for SLR end. Oh, I missed this one. Now we have a big new range to plat. It is, yeah. It was a really hard retracement. Good morning, Win.
Winston's mom says good morning, Speculator Seth. Good morning, day traders, and Friday is your reward for this week. Friday means tomorrow is the weekend. Woohoo, and hello.
So if this move was expected, I don't think it was. Some people on Twitter are saying it was expected that they would let the SLR expire when they didn't say anything about it on Thursday. But clearly the whole market didn't expect it, because when that news came out, like, boosh.
Winston's mom says if I had realized SHE would say woohoo, I would have thrown a few extra woohoo woohoo woohoos in there.
Oh, good stuff. I mean, I'm tempted to come in and sell it again, but uh-oh, I hear a baby crying. Hold on. All right, we're back. Do you have plans to build a bathroom this weekend? You had a pipe explode and figured, well, everything is screwed. We may as well remodel it. Oh, man. I remember remodeling. Oh, we were streaming back then, even when we remodeled my wife's bathroom and the basement. Whew. They are going to recover all of this and then the treasuries eventually go higher. That would be crazy, but not so sure that that's what's going to happen. Citibank says, buy the dip in risks, the market ear, I'm just going to make it like a non-dramatic title right now that's Fed ends SLR extension.
Winston's mom says before we lean into the market open, will everyone watching now please hit the like button? Thank you.
I love that voice, man. Well, we got 10 minutes to the open. For the record of the day as a complete game changer. So I hear, right? I've considered one. Well, my wife was talking about getting me one for my birthday, apparently. She's like, oh, I'm pretty sure that we got a pipe over there and we can get a heated one. Okay. Oh, there was a big bid at 9 and it disappeared. I'm surprised that there is as much liquidity as there is there. My birthday is May 31st. Oh, gross, Ace. No, I'm not even going to read that one. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Okay, now what's your social security? Nope. What did you think of that last spot there at about 3909, Ace? Because I was sitting right at it and I was like, we'll just wait. It looks like it might bounce. And then there was a little push, and so I went short about a point lower than I wanted to. He says, you're short. What price are you short from? Oh, well, you don't have to tell me, but was it higher than 3908?
Winston's mum says speculators it's platinum card. Punkt 123. Teasing speculators 456. Punkt yes. My robot voice is sexy. 789 declined.
Oh, okay. So you did the same. You did the exact same thing that I did. It pushed down and you FOMO'd in. So for me, I'm going to be risk adverse here. Even though I think there's a really high probability that we move down to 3,900. I'm just going to take that one.
Winston's mom says I wish I sounded that cool in real life. No one of the aircraft would have launched. Everyone would have shown up at the command post.
Wait, what? Are you saying that you could have prevented the last World War? Is that what you... Thank you. Okay, so a little bit of a bounce there. Looks like I could have gotten a lot more out of that, but... So it went from 8 to 4. Oh, I guess only 2 more points more of it. And let's see here. What is silver and gold doing now? A lot of volatility. At the moment, they're pointed down. There's the treasuries pushing down to those lows. But the E-mini rebouncing a bit. I'm half tempted to take a log in the E-mini now, but I think we should wait until the open, because that's in like 50 seconds. Oh, really? So Gabby tried one there, but it looks like she didn't get it. Wonder why she stopped out so quickly. Oh, you know what? She had a good one earlier. That's why. Well, this sure is going to make for an interesting day, don't you think? Initial move up in direction, but mixed in volume. Running into quite a bit of selling at 39.01.5. It's come through there many times, though. What caused this when I was AFK? No, nothing, just the open. Trying to shake off that sleepiness again. Man. Well, so far, a little bit of up movement, but it's difficult over there, right? Gold and silver pushing down again here. And not looking too good for them. Oh, and interestingly enough, J is winning and J2 is losing today. They always seem to be on opposite sides. What's with that? Dollar index extending gains as treasury yields turning higher. Okay, so the volume is definitely long by about 1,000 contracts, maybe. But there they are pushing down on the other side of the open now. You look like you were dying from undersleeping. I feel like I'm dying from undersleeping. But it's not that. Chemicals are just screwed up. Okay, they're pushing there. Oh gosh dang it. I wasn't supposed to respond to that guy. Oh. Okay. Well, a little bit of support right there at 98. Hi, Big Toasty. Okay, and they recover that back to the open now. Pretty good excursion on that side. I think I'm going to take this one. Nope. Ouch. I'm glad I bailed. Thumbs go burr. Hmm. Not cooperating there either. Wow. Wait, what? What? Why, this green line is just a moving average. It's just a simple moving average. Mm-hmm. There it is. Ouch. Well, I missed out on that one, unfortunately. Well, equities look very angry. When they're well below some earlier levels in the week. In fact, let's see here. This week opened on the 15th. We are negative for the week now, basically. Oh, this is hard for me to judge how far this can go. Oh, that's not what I wanted. So at this point, because I am actually up on the day still. Maybe I should just be allotting myself more risk. But I'm thinking that no. I want to take the small ones, which means that I might have a few little losers, but we want to try and get something to run. Okay, so that's it right there. No. Okay. That's a little better. It's a little more like it. Oh man, that last bar was ugly. Is it still not possible to show your jigsaw entries on the NQ chart? Oh, on the NT chart? You mean over here? So if I chose a I kind of could, but I would be using the NinjaTrader fill simulator. You know what I mean? So if I went in and I activated the bridge again, then I would be able to trade on my NinjaTrader sim account, and then it would show up over here. But I don't want to do that. One, because I like the more accurate fills, right? And two, I don't really want you guys to follow that. I'd only be paying attention to that if you were like trying to mirror my trades or something. Oh, they do have charting. Yeah, you can do that in Ninja. I don't think that they have anything that will show you entries on that though. My oh my. Oh, you're just curious. Well, I mean, for that, we can just come back and we can look at this, right? So I took 2 winners, and then I took 2 small losers, and then I scratched 2. Now I've gotten one that's been able to run a little bit. In fact, I'm thinking I might try taking it off. Just because things have equalized a lot faster than I thought they would. Yeah, I agree. Vlad is like Bear's in control, but extending too far. Like when you see the pushes back up, that looks like stop runs and stuff. It's like everybody wants to sell, but there's too many of them jumping on board. Oh, come on. There we go. Good. So I'm sitting here looking at this now and just realizing how much adrenaline I've got going right now. My heart's beating pretty fast. Well, not even so much fast, but hard. Did Gabby end up taking hers? No. Curious. Oh, that was aggressive. That could be a new low. Yeah. Oh, no. Okay. So a lot traded there at 79. Oh, come on, Noville. There we go. All right. Okay. Back to the 84 area again. They are punching the other side now. Strange world when crypto is more stable than indexes. Well, you could say that crypto dropped a little bit on that news. I wouldn't necessarily call it more stable, though. Like, the liquidity over there is just not very good. Remember when NQ was around 4,500 in 2017? Oh boy, RIP shorts in those. Oh man, yeah. And that big range in ZB still holding at the bottom. Yeah, well, so they've kind of they've kind of are settling out in the treasuries, and it looks like they're just going to balance around this, somewhere between 05 and 02. Which is kind of curious. Kind of suggesting to me other waves of selling and not just rebalancing. Okay, they're gonna break a 90. That could prove difficult. There's definitely like some gunning for it and defense being played in that spot. But look at the way the profile dropped through there. So, okay, big bid pushed there. Trying to push him over the line. Yeah, okay. Some drama here. That's so... Oh my. Hold up. So I kind of wanted to see it move back up to the other part of the profile, but there's just a little bit too much back and forth here for my liking. So, do you think the Fed saying it won't extend relief for banks will continue down pressure throughout the day? I wish, when we get into the repo stuff, we're really pushing the limits of my knowledge about the treasury market. And the issue that I have is that I don't know how many bonds that banks have to dump because of this. If I knew that, then maybe I would be able to make some guesstimates about how much the selling should persist, Surely, though, the people that were dealing with this already knew, and maybe that's why they sold yesterday, right? I think this gives a much better explanation as to why treasuries did what they did yesterday, right? So I feel like that this is more instructive of explaining why we had the action we had in the past, more so than it will predicting the future. And now at this point, I think that options and so forth become a little bit more important. So 3,900 is a real magnet still. Yeah, there you go. See, if I had held on a little bit longer, I could have taken this off here and called myself a rock star. But you know what? Like that trade was pretty darn okay. Pretty darn okay. I did use 2 contracts, but I was able to keep my risk low, and I was able to keep it above my break-even point the whole time. So, in terms of a market-making trade there, I'm gonna have to give that one an A. Maybe an A minus. Should we start grading our trades with letters? Give ourselves letter grades. So I wasn't paying too much attention to chat here. I see you guys got rid of somebody again. Hmm. So that, by the way, that is also a signal that we don't get very often. And I think I've taken it 3 times now, and all 3 times it's worked well for me. So I am, I wonder if I could backtest that one. Titanium don't die. Talked about the 77 to 80 area yesterday and today earlier on Discord, but I must confess I got afraid of taking that one. Well, it had nothing to do with any level. It was just, well, I guess it was a level. When it fell down, I saw a specific set of conditions and took it. It's like something that I believe may be truly indicative of market maker stopping out. But I think that we need a larger sample size before I really dedicate myself to that trade. But I'm watching that and I'm like, well, you could probably make a career just with that one. Can you elaborate on that? I was off for the last 10 minutes. Well, I don't want to give away the exact thing that I see, but it's just, we had a pretty good move down and it looked like it was reversing. And then we got, well, not reversing, but it was like a big move down and then it kind of slowed down for a minute and then it pushed down again. And when it pushed down again, you got a real puke. If I can show you on the chart here where I took it. So here it was. So there's this bar right here. That was really ugly. And then there was a bar where it kind of slowed down. And then on this bar is where I saw it. I believe it was this bar at 84. Timing is everything. Yeah. And it could maybe was a little early to that one, but so it was at 84 and then it went lower again. So on this one, the thing is that I had made profits on here. So when it went lower, I was able to double down. So I'd say that worked pretty well. Now the question is, are we really? So this area in here becomes a vacuum, right? So it will take them a little bit of time for those guys to that want to trade to do their thing, and then we'll see if they have to cover and bring it back up, or if another wave of people come in and start selling again. It would be a really crazy day if they came in and started selling new lows again. I locked in 10 points on this drop and went elsewhere. Wish I was still in, yeah. Well, where was it? We took in, was it that sell at 08? That we should have just held it? Probably could have gotten away with that, yeah. Wait, when did we open it at? 7:22. Oh, yeah, we could have. Yeah, should have just held that. Would have been great. So they're kind of approaching those lows again. You think they're going to go through? Well, they were sure looking like they were getting it for a second. It's kind of hanging out there. Yeah, so Powell has a statement out on the Wall Street Journal op-ed. He has an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal saying that the economic outlook is brightening. Powell to make 3 public appearances next week. Oh. Time my stop gained to 24, it triggered it and went to the target. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, so there's a new low. It was a little... I think there might be more to that one. Yep. Tesla's chart looks disaster looking. Well, let's go. Oh my gosh, look at GameStop. Oi. GameStop. Well, considering as bad as this downturn has been, I guess they should consider themselves lucky that they're only down 6.5%. Tesla looks pretty similar and is down 3%. Yeah. Well, and remember when was it? Oh, I remember yesterday them heading up towards 700. Maybe that was 2 days ago. That's actually really bad, right? From a technical perspective. Like if we come back here and we select like oh, hold on. Yeah, fix the chart here. Okay. If we come back and select it as like 30 minutes chart, yeah. Oh, I need to go even further back. Maybe 3 months? Okay, sure. So, oh, maybe we need to go back even further than that. Yeah. So do you see how it used to be that this 700 was kind of support? And it's very quickly turned into resistance. And it does look like this whole thing is probably going to retrace. So we might be looking for Tesla to go back to 400. Not that that's predictive or anything, but those are just the levels that they'll be looking at. So in the meanwhile, what does ARK look like? Down 1%. That's not too bad. And what about my beloved Sumo? 4%. And Rare Earth Resources down 10%. Oh, $250. Oh, they were at like $4 at one point. Oh, that sucks. Wait, where was that one? Where do I have that one up? What about MSTR? MSTR is not really taking a huge puke today, believe it or not. Yeah, they were at $4 at one point. That sucks. Well, this thing up here was a little bit of a overextension. Right now, they're kind of more at the mean. So it kind of appears to me, though, that the rare earth element resources is starting to behave more like a risk asset. You know? And let's see here. Silver's flat on the day. They were probably up in the overnight. They were probably at 17.5. If gold and silver decided to take off, they could certainly do so, but... Oh, and the 5-year took a pretty good bounce there. That helps. Well, it's Kevin talking about that for a while. Salim seemed like a normal viewer. So the thing was that he always came in and asked a lot of like weird questions, you know. So it was like he would ask really basic questions, but then he would act like he was some expert. And eventually I just got fed up with him, and I was like, you know what, you're distracting the channel, so I'm getting rid of you. And then he just went into like, I don't know, man. He's got issues. He's got issues, and I can't pretend to know what's going on in his head, but he's got issues. Some of these stocks actually kind of starting to look like maybe they're done, but Scott Stargets was Seth on Discord as well. He outright called for the 3910s. I was deciding between 05 to 10. Yeah. Well, you understand why I said 10 though, yeah? Because yesterday that was the VIX one range target. The first target rather, we should say, and that was like stop out zone. By the way, if we come and we look at our 5-minute chart here, what do you see? Well, we went through the stop out zone. We had a slip and then a reversal, and now they've kind of been ranging around here. Now, if this is to be a trend down day, they will just ride this all the way. But it's not really kind of showing that kind of behavior yet. So there may be a attempt to get back to 38.95. Possible. Though actually I didn't know why until now. I'm a volume profile guy. Oh yeah, well yeah. So like just remember with the volume profile that just because there was a lot of action in a spot in the past doesn't mean that there will be now. So like how do we do this? Let's come back and use Jigsaw's charts. Yeah? Let's come back and use Jigsaw's charts here so I can show you what I mean by that. Hold on a second. I is a little irritated, but it looks like it's okay. Okay. So should we do it as a footprint chart? With the histogram, yes sir. Interval. Let's try it on a 5-minute interval with tilt mode turned off. And try that. Okay, sure. Oh my gosh, it hurts. Hold on a second. I'll go check it. Okay. So, I'm going to draw a picture here. You with me? You with me? Take your time, no rush. Okay. Is there a reason you aren't using red and green candles? Because it is easier to tell the difference between blue and orange. Blue and orange is the recommended color scheme for colorblind people. I'm not colorblind between green and red, but they do kind of have a similar brightness, and I definitely find it easier to tell with orange and blue, so I use that. Okay. So anyways. So remember, you've got a bunch of, so here you got like a current price. I'm going to draw a picture over here on the left side. You've got current price, right? And presumably, you've got people that want to buy and people that want to sell. Now, people that want to buy, if, it was up here, they would have already done so, right? So people that want to buy, they want to buy it when it's low, right? And the further away from current price it is, probably the less people that you're actually going to get to buy. So there's going to be people that say they want to buy, and it's like through this right here. So you get a profile like this of the people that want to buy. This isn't like that have traded. This is in the past. Okay. Now let's use a different color. Let's use this pink. Now you get this people that want to sell, and they're going to look like this. Right? Okay. So there's this crossover, right? There's this place where the buyers and sellers agree. Now, where the buyers and sellers agree, they will trade it right away, right? What this does, these are like trader intentions, okay? So then when you get in the next one, you actually get something like this, right? This is where people accuse me of drawing boobs, okay? There's going to be this spot right here where they already executed, okay? So we commonly assume, when I look at the profile, oh, I have a spot right here like this. This is where they agree. Everything's cool, right? The classic titty profile. All right. Clear that for a second. Now let's go back. What about if they don't want to trade a spot? Right? So look at this right here. When they fell through at 84, 38, 84, when they first touched it, you can see very clearly here on the profile, if I will circle it here, or I will highlight it here. They did not want to trade that. They did not want to trade that, right? So there is a lack of liquidity at that location. Liquidity was pulled, yes. Now look at what happened afterwards. Look at that. This bar touched it. This bar touched it. They moved up, but then it came back down. This bar touched it. Notice, by the way, here in this spot, now the amount that's trading at that level is higher. Okay. They fell down through, came back here, and now here again, more volume again. Curious, isn't it? How the place where liquidity was pulled becomes the most traded place later on. Right? Why is that? Because there is a lack of latent liquidity here. And so as it goes along, it just gets stuck there. That's the most traded price, maybe not necessarily because there's a big agreement between buyers and sellers, but because they just can't get away from that price. They're stuck. They're stuck. Right? So, what can we glean from that? Number one, just because a lot of volume traded in one spot doesn't mean that a lot of volume will trade in that spot the next day. Of course, we're doing this on a short time frame, so one could make the argument that that's not what it does on an intraday. Like 5-minute chart is not what it will do on a 30-minute chart from day to day. Okay, but I'm going to make the assertion here that from my testing and observations, and we could go and do more studies on this if we wanted to, but my data suggests that a lot of volume trading in a spot does not necessarily mean that it is going to trade a lot of volume there in the future. You like the footprint? It's a jigsaw footprint is really nice, isn't it? I wish I could consolidate it by handle instead of tick, but what are the yellow numbers supposed to be? Yeah, the yellow number is where there was like more than a 2-to-1 imbalance, I believe. So I don't know if that ends up mattering, but they're saying there was an imbalance right there. Lots of selling, and that's why I went giddish. Okay. So it gave us a sound that liquidity pulled again. Interesting. Well, they might have to pull back a little bit now. But horizontal only, or no, I think it's diagonally. So they have these diagonal charts, but I can't stand them. That makes them, I don't think that it means anything. I haven't been able to find an edge with it, but that's just studies. Data and chart type. I'll show you the tilt mode. Apply. I find tilt mode incredibly difficult to read. So I just don't care. Because I don't necessarily read it that way. Anyways. Oh boy, my eyes. Right. Anyways. What was my whole point? Where liquidity traded in the past, it doesn't mean that that's where liquidity is going to trade in the future. That's why what I care about more is what is happening right now. Liquidity pulled in that location. What does it tell me? Why did that happen? Well, so then I can come back over here to my 5-minute chart, right? And I can say, what actually happened there? What actually happened there? We were getting a bender down move. We went below the stop out line, and then liquidity pulled. So at that point was where the volume became so much down that the market making algorithm basically said to hell with it and pulled its orders. Right? So that immediately tells me that a pretty big potential seller is sold and has gotten out, and there's a possibility of a reversal. So I took it long. Do you prefer tick charts or minute charts? I don't think it really matters. I've been using minute charts though. Now the next thing that we need to come in and look at is, or the last thing that we need to look at is where the market is pricing that we can potentially go, right? Okay, so based on the level of the VIX when we opened, that would put us around 38.88, and oh, what do you know? They went exactly right to it and are bouncing. Okay, if this was like a dumpster fire trend down day, the downside target is 38.49 and a quarter. So when I was calling that 39.10 the other day, I was basing that off of this is where the VIX said that we can go. 39.10. You see it back there yesterday. And where is it? Was this yesterday? No, that's the overnight. Here it is. Here it is. And then here I said, okay, there was liquidity pulls there when it went back on the seller side. So that was one where I said, well, based off of where my stop out zones are, 39.10, and it matched up with what the VIX says, probably we're going to go to that spot. So that's how I made that determination. Not something that I've back tested the VIX, and you have something like a 66% chance of it going to that line and then not passing it, of it being there. Anyways, there's stats on it, and then I've done a lot on the these lines. And although it's not a predictive signal, there are definitely probabilities and so forth associated with it. So not today because the housemaid is cleaning. That's funny. Man, I just rubbed my eye too hard, but I think that it's time for me to switch my contacts out is the problem. They were feeling a little icky yesterday, and now today they're really bad. So it's time to switch the contacts. Well, let's see here. The dollar now higher than before the Fed announcement. Ah, funny. Funny how that works. And that pull of liquidity kind of throwing them for a loop. I think that we may get stuck here for a while. Jim Cramer tweets, if interest rates were just to stop going up from here, we could have a NASDAQ rally. You say so, Jimmy. Well, look at that. Wait, who made money on that one? Brendan made money. Oh, good deal. Good deal. Oh, he made bank today. He lost like $1,000 the other day. It looks like he's almost going to make 1,000 today. A little disappointed in Gabby, though. And I'm also a little confused as to why yesterday it was Jay that did well, and today it's J2 that did well. There must be some sort of bias built into them that I'm not aware of, that I need to control for, because they're the opposite of each other again. I don't know. Something seems wrong with it, though. Speaking of dumpsters, hit that like you sent again. We got 21 likes. We're doing pretty good. Well, we're getting 30 earlier in the week. We have been a little bit less viewership this week. We've been coming short of that 50 mark. We're usually more around 40 these days. I lost some viewers. I offended them with, what did we talk about? I don't know. Well, they sure did fall there in the E-mini. Is this another buy? Little worry about that one. Does your viewership correspond to moves in the market? It can. So, for instance, when the GameStop thing was going on, we got a lot of viewers, yeah. And when the markets were really falling apart, I mean, it has to be a really big move, and then, yeah, we do see more people come in, but most days it's pretty consistent. So the thing that's so interesting about it is that we've got like this core audience of people that are really serious about trading and enjoy being here. And your average person is turned off by it. Define the word enjoy? I don't know, man. But, you know, you go back to the GameStop thing. Of course, you would expect the viewership to come back down, but it comes back down to where it was before. So then you say, okay, well, we didn't really pick up viewers from it, right? Well, why not? Well, because most of them aren't looking to trade futures. and do market making. And, they want somebody to come in and tell them, this is the thing, we're all in, guys. The CEO, he says X, Y, and Z, and we're, this company is going to the moon. I came for the trading, I stay for the biceps. Oh, my biceps are terrible right now. God, don't say that. I still got the legs though. Anyways, I believe I've come to the conclusion that to make the stream significantly more popular, I would have to make real changes to the approach to the stream, and I don't want to do that, but my approach would have to become, I'm winning all the time and you should follow me, and if you follow my trades then you will make money too, and yada yada, do a combine, tell them all of the things that other people say that I think are harmful, right? The channel overall, though, is immune to that, right? In the channel overall, we can give good advice on one-off videos and we grow in size, and it's pretty cool. And the views improve too. Actually, let's go look at that. Let's go look at that. Otherwise, I'll forget about it. Jay Mazzini got arrested. I don't know who that is. Yeah, one of the very few places one can have a serious discussion about futures without being a gimmick. Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel. I feel like anywhere else you go, not just futures, but trading in general, it's more about hype. So let's see here. If I do it on a weekly basis for the last year, let's say. Sure. Oh, that's not the total. I just want to see the total. Okay, yeah. So when you look at the stats, you can see there was the GameStop thing. And then we stopped putting GameStop in our titles, so we stopped getting those viewers. And most of them didn't subscribe, and then we're just back to where we were. And these numbers change, like the reason that these ones are higher is because we had made videos, and we haven't made one-off of videos for a couple of weeks because the wife, I keep having to watch the baby. So I don't think we'll do it again this week either, but I need to get on that. I need to do them like every week, and the channel would grow a lot faster, but it's okay. Channel's not everything. And of course, this video is the one that provides the base level of it, right? I wish I could change it based off of like only live streams. Last week you mentioned a book you were reading about market micro. That wasn't last week, but I'm done with that. Reading that book. So that whole thing that I was showing you guys with the volume profile, in showing you places where there ends up being a lack of liquidity and you get stuck there, that was something that they talk about in the book. They basically went through and actually showed that it was the two sides trading a bunch all at once at one spot and then creating a lack of liquidity in a location that actually ends up creating those distributions in the profile. I have to say there was a lot of things I learned in that book that were things that I had been taught or like I had suspected were true, but I never felt confident about. And the book pretty conclusively proved, or at least provided very compelling evidence of, what the reality was. And I think once those things were no longer kind of like wild cards or questions in my mind, I come back and I look at markets, and it seems like it has changed my view, because once I finished reading that book, I've hardly had an unprofitable day. I think though that might be because I'm using the Kyle model to crawl back the losses. Well, I don't. Yeah, Market says, did you make any changes to your process after reading the book? Not really. I mean, I did kind of see certain locations differently. So I very much am trying to identify a place where I think that there's going to be a lack of liquidity ahead of us, and trading it before we get there on, So that seems to have given me a better win rate, because I know the place where I can buy on and get a little bit of momentum on the hopes that it will go through that area. That's why when I did that initial buy, I remember when I did that earlier, I was long from, 76 or whatever, and it came up here, and I took like my $75, but I said, well, I would really like to see it slip back through a little bit higher. It was because I suspected that there was going to be a little bit of a slipperiness when they came back through some of these areas. So yes, comforting when experience is seen by others. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Anyways, I thought it was a good book. It was called Markets Under the Microscope, basically, was the tagline. So it's like the main title is like orders and blah, 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 all these things. Markets Under the Microscope. Now, what does that Fed SLR mean? So this is not something that I know a ton about, but basically during the pandemic, the Federal Reserve implemented a rule that allowed the bank holding companies. So understand, a bank holding company is a specific type of entity created after the 2008 crisis to house these large banks. So, like Goldman Sachs and all these other guys, they basically said, okay, we want you to become bank holding companies now. And there will be certain things that you can do as bank holding companies. So if you are a bank holding company, some of the requirements for what you can hold and how much you can hold and everything were relaxed if you were holding treasuries. So it basically allowed the bank holding companies to own more treasuries during this time. And the gist of it is as I understand it, is that without that rule, some of these banks are going to have to sell a bunch of treasuries. Oh, Live Action says you develop ideas, and when others see you the same, it is comforting. Yeah, I don't find that comforting at all. Live Action. I think that how do I put this? So I was thinking about this a lot yesterday. Success is a liability in trading. Like, I don't know any other way to put it. I know that phrase would probably turn some people off because it kind of implies a certain mentality to things. And I don't think that it should be like this mentality of like the drop is going to be inevitable and you're never going to make it because something's always going to, it's not like that. It's just, when you're successful at trading, it just makes it harder to trade, right? So maybe a better way of putting it would be, like, what is the thing? Is trading for you? Well, I'm starting to think that maybe it comes down to this one question. Okay, you've been trading for a little while. What if I told you it gets more difficult? No matter what happens, whether you do well or you do worse, but trading will become more difficult because the market is always evolving and getting better, right? And if you do well, that becomes more difficult for you to trade because you're trading larger size. It gets more difficult. So knowing that it will get more difficult, do you still want to do it? And if the answer is yes, then maybe trading is for you, right? Any idea what the impact of selling treasuries by banks on cryptocurrency inflow? I don't think that it would have any effect on the cryptocurrencies. The thing that's going to affect the cryptocurrencies is that this bearishness has increased the dollar, the value of the dollar. It really should be making Bitcoin drop, but I'm betting you that it hasn't yet. It hasn't. I hate this stupid well, I'm going to read his comment even though he deleted it. I hate this stupid vagueness you get from reading abstract books. Yeah, I'm sure that you would say that because you haven't read the book. I don't think you ever will read the book. If you did read the book, I don't think you would understand any of what it's saying. And I'm not hyper specific about it because, one, I don't want to give away the exact things that I'm looking at that I've gotten from that book is one thing, and the other thing is that to really truly explain them, you'd have to go through and derive all of the formulas like they do in the book. So but it was a good book. It made a big difference in my trading for sure. I can't quite pinpoint how. I still feel like it's a little bit vague, like where I'm entering and exiting it from and everything, and how my brain has somehow incorporated it into the trading. But there's been a noticeable change in my trading since I finished reading that book. A very noticeable change. So I'm what's the opinionator telling us today? I was just saying that trading always gets harder. We're talking about the markets under the microscope book. The book on market microstructure. Another thing that book has helped me with, though, is now that I've read that book, when I go and I read other studies, empirical studies, I understand what's going on a lot more now because I have all this background that the researchers have that when you're just reading them, they don't make sense. Like, something I've learned is when you read a study, they'll usually say something like, well, we found this thing which was proven in this study and this study. And so what you really should do is you should go and read those other studies first. Otherwise, you just don't have the context to really understand why they think that the thing even matters. And then that makes it difficult to really incorporate it into your trading. I haven't read a trading book that I found helpful in a while, but your testimony is convincing. Well, I wouldn't consider it a trading book. That's the thing. It's like the book doesn't say, okay, here's this thing and here's how you use it in your trading and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't do that at all. And that's what I think is great about it. I said this on the Futures IO board the other day. We always thought, okay, well, maybe something works or doesn't work. If you say that it works, show me your trading history for it, right? Oh man, this just reminds me. So yesterday on TikTok, I came across this account on TikTok, and it was this lady that had Ninja Trader up. And they're like, oh, here, my robot, it took this trade today and it went short and it made all this money. And I'm like, okay. That's interesting, because it was the first time that I had seen anybody on TikTok showing a Ninja Trader screenshot. But then, like, the video they had posted before that was like, all you haters are saying that I'm not legit, so here I'll show you my actual trading. And she showed 1 week of trading, okay? And it was like, she was like 7 for 7. She had won 7 times. And there were like big winners too, by the way. But man, like that immediately was like red warning signs going off. Oh my gosh, I have to dig through everything on this account and watch them all and try and prove that they're bullshitting everybody and all this and that. And I was going through it, and like the big thing was like, okay, if you're going to prove that you're legit, why would you only show 1 week of results? Like, really, come on. I was just flabbergasted that they thought that was like, that would shut people up as 1 week's of results, especially a week where there was like a Fed meeting and all sorts of other crazy things have happened, you know? Anyways, but then I accidentally pushed the back button and I lost that account. So like the person's profile, and I don't remember what their name was. So maybe I'll come across it again, but I don't remember who they were. But I would like to go through it and prove that they're lying, because they're lying. And the whole account was nothing but, oh, we made this money, or this member in our room made money. Ugh. I guess I could do that same thing, couldn't I? Because at least one of you guys does good every day. But I digress. The point of that, though, was that I'm learning now, hey, if somebody trades and they have successful results, it's not enough, because then you run into 2 issues, right? One issue is that you don't know how they produced those results, right? Maybe they were lucky. Maybe it was something to do with the market itself, right? And then the other issue is that you may not be able to duplicate those results. And I have found that often, that the people that I've spoken to that have profitable results, Ace is the only one where I look at what he does and I feel like I can duplicate it. But even then, he always seems to trade it better than me one way or another. Worked out pretty okay for those first few trades today, though. Yeah, because a lot of the time the edge that people have is something that you can't duplicate. They've been in the industry and they have background from that, like they've been in the oil industry or something. They know something, they know stuff that normal people don't know, you know, or they have risk tolerances that other people don't have, and, you know, so you can't duplicate it. So then what do you do? If even if they show you a strategy and they have proof that it works and that's still not sufficient to help you, then what should you really be going for? And I have decided that the answer is that you don't want somebody to give you a strategy, but rather just prove something about the market, right? Prove that a certain behavior tends to happen in the market. And we always go back to the easiest example, the one that I think that most traders will understand and accept and acknowledge to be true, is that volatility tends to cluster. And that is something very unique about markets that you wouldn't find in a random walk, right? Volatility tends to cluster. This is a property that you can prove empirically, right? And so the reason why that market microstructure book is so good is because they prove to you a number of things about the way that markets behave that is not what a random walk would do. Right? So once you read through all of those, you kind of start to realize, oh, all of these things that I thought were patterns like X are really only happening because of the way that a limit order book works. Can you elaborate on volatility tends to cluster? Sure. So like if you have a really it's unlikely. So for instance, it's unlikely for you to have like a one day where the VIX is really, really high and the indexes move a ton, and then the next day they don't move at all, right? If the volatility has been really low and then you get a day where volatility rises a lot, chances are that the volatility will continue to rise a little bit, and that you will have a period for a few weeks of higher than usual volatility. Or another way of looking at it is you don't see a constant stream of orders. Like if you went through and there was 1,000 orders within the period of a minute, would it be that those orders would be equally distributed across every second? No, that it will be clustered. And in fact, they clustered a lot, where it's like most of that minute, there won't be much activity at all. But then there will be like within 1 second, this huge flurry of activity where all the orders come in. That's what we mean by volatility tends to cluster. So you can get really deep into this, and they use certain kinds of models to kind of model how that clustering can come in and what they might need to do to be able to account for it. These are like Hawk's processes and stuff like that, which I haven't figured out yet. But and the book, interestingly enough, doesn't talk about, but there are a lot of studies recently about that stuff. I literally couldn't care less what other people's results are. Well, I certainly care when people make claims. That's the thing that irks me, man, is when people make claims and then they're not willing to back them up, you know? Because the thing always ends up being, oh, I think markets are this way. And then you say, okay, prove it. And they say, well, I trade with this and it works really well for me. And then it's like, okay, well, that doesn't prove that thing, but let's see what your results are. And they don't want to show it. So it's like, and that's the thing that I think is so funny, is like the people that are really truly good at this that I've met, Uzi being one of them, don't boast about it. they're really quite underspoken about it, you know? That's your business, though, so to speak. Content has to come from somewhere. I'm not in that boat. I trade, I do good sometimes, I do bad sometimes. Is what it is, yeah. Well, I wish that the larger trading world was more like this. That if somebody makes an actual claim that they're required to back it up. I think that if I was moderating a subreddit and somebody made a claim about something without backing it up with evidence, that they should just be banned right then and there. You know, that's how I roll. But no, the people that I've met that were really making money and showed me good broker statements, when they did make a claim, they were willing to back it up, but they did not boast about their trading. And I think that alone is part of how they're able to be successful. I think that if you truly understand what is going on in the market and you're using properties about the market and how a limit order book works to your advantage that you don't boast about it. Yeah, if someone rolls in upselling their trading nuts, I'm more the kind of guy who lets them have their minute in the sun. You're right. Well, and that's another part though that is like I can't handle it. And I think that there's something also to that personality trait, that somebody that can see somebody else doing something, even if the thing that they're doing is like dishonest, then they just don't care and just stick to what they're doing and focus on themselves. That's like a helpful personality trait, it seems. But there's also something too fundamental to how the market works that makes that work, you know? Like you don't want to share the edge. But I'm just some rando who's been in and out of trading forums watching people upsell themselves for 14 years now, so I just kind of learned to not get involved when it happens. Yeah, that might be it too, Uzi. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's because I've been noticing more and more when I'm on Reddit, somebody will say something, will ask a question, and I'll be like, oh, I have a great answer for that. And I just don't post it. Because I get tired of like posting the same things or like saying something and people not believing you, you know? Ace says, I always believe the videos as long as they have a Lamborghini in them. Right. But for you, it does make content, and from my perspective, there's nothing wrong with it. You take those kind of people and make a teachable moment out of them that has value. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and here's the other part of it, though, is like, I thought I could change it. Right? Like I think that's what I thought, at least. Maybe that wasn't like a conscious thing that I was saying, but I thought, okay, look, we can come in and we can show people, you got to show your results, and people will start demanding that, and it will fix the problem, and things will be different in the future. That's what I thought, right? Well, here's what I've noticed has happened since I've started doing this stream. Even though the core audience of this stream, which tends to be between 40 and 50 people a day that really, really watch it, about 200 people that will stop by, about 40 of you guys that like really, truly watch it, and it's consistent from day to day. And so you would think that that's really small and you don't have an impact. But I have absolutely, without question, noticed that the ideas that I pushed, especially at the very beginning of the stream, have become much more widespread. So like we would almost never hear people talk about volatility. And after we made that video of the stuff that Gary Rich showed us, and now I see it all the time. Right. So it seems like that even though the channel itself might not be wildly successful, the reach that we actually have in terms of changing the way that the people look at things is actually really is there. And so you would think that would mean that, oh, yes, we actually did change it. But when I look back at it, it's like, okay, like people do require more evidence from people when they boast, but it hasn't solved the problem. It's just kind of like moved to another spot. Gary, that was like a year ago. But you've been around. You've seen Gary before, Kyle. He hasn't been here recently, though, because we had a falling out, I guess. I still like him. I still think he's a great guy. It just seems like he was the stream was doing something bad to him, you know? Dr. Handley here on YouTube reviewed thousands of trading rooms, and I think he found less than 5 legit rooms. Really? No, that's John. We did have one video where we had where Gary talked to us. Yeah, and we can say Gary is a great trader, although what Gary showed me showed that his success was more in theta. So he was one of those guys who took tough love a little too far. Yeah, well, and he disagreed with me on some fundamental things too, I guess. Like Bitcoin, whatever. I have to say, though, some of my better trades were ones where I just ignored him. So it's like, you can't follow other people. That's all I can say. Because everybody's going to be wrong about something. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, it hasn't solved the problem. And why hasn't it solved the problem? Like I see more hucksters than ever. Right? It seems to me that it's just the way people are, and you could come in and you could have an impact on a certain group of traders, but 95% of them are still going to fail. And then a year from now, you're back to square one again, Could you be wrong about everyone is wrong about something? Maybe. If there's somebody that's never been wrong about something, I've definitely never met them. And it's definitely not me. Maybe Jesus, but you don't believe it, so... I put him on timeout and he didn't come back. That's what happened with Gary. I don't remember what day that was, but it was like a month ago now. And then a few days later, there was another guy that he had brought into the channel, Blunt, who was always talking shit, but wouldn't back it up, and so I banned him. Which it makes me sad, but it's like, you know what? If it's really distracting us, then it's just better that way, Yep, Blunt 420. That's right. Oh, you take notes on this, Ace? Really? Oh, man. Do you have a list of like everybody that we get rid of? Wait. You know what I bet we can do? Well, let's see here. Yeah, I have a huge spreadsheet. You're not joking about that, are you? Wait. Everything everyone ever said. You know what I did one time? I shouldn't admit this, but I did this, okay? Early on. When people were taking trades for like a day or two, I was tracking it down to say, okay, let's see if there's people in the room that actually got something or not. And it was just noise. It was like, oh, okay. Don't pay attention to what other people say. It looks like a Relief Society Sisters genealogy chart from the 80s. Oh my gosh. Oh, Ace. Okay, yes, here it is. There it is. So, how many people... So here's the people that we've banned on our channel. Okay. It's kind of funny how we go. I wonder how it's... Oh no, this is like... I think that the first people are up at the top. Vladimir Putin? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's It must be based off of something else. I was about to say Salim's got to make that project a nightmare ace. Yeah. Okay. So like, how many of these are him? I think that was him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I remember that one. 9, 10. I think that one was 11, 12. I think all these short ones were definitely him. 13. Usually those ones with like names like that. 14. 15. I mean, there's got to be like 100 of him in here, right? There's him. It's pretty funny. There he is. There's a couple of them are just like his name, different ways. And then the other funny one is because the other person that's harassed our channel a lot has been Vinny, and he shows up in here a bunch of times too, doesn't he? Like we've had to, because he has like 4 channels or something, right? And we've had to ban them. That you come in and will harass us, and then we have to ban them. So I think so. There's the 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Vinny E. Mini. We've had to ban him 4 times. But I'm pretty sure that like the vast majority of these are him. The Air Max was Salim. So many of them. It's funny, right? Oh, I recognize Gary by his avatar photo now. Ha. Yeah, okay. I was like, you've definitely been around while he was around. Like, you were here the day when we got into it, and he left. Kyle's like, yeah, I was here that day. Steve, Vinny, and Tony, 3 names I never do business with? Really? Tony, wait. My first conversation with a broker was a Vinny. That's funny. Oh man, there was like this trader dictionary somewhere and I can't find it anymore. Maybe it was finance dictionary. Financial terms dictionary, Investopedia. Maybe it was that. I don't think that I could pull off a Tony. Oh, really? That's funny. So I could be technical analysis Tony. There you go. What about Steve? Stock market Steve? That's what I should do. Wait. What do you think about that one? A stock market Steve. And Stock Market Steve can wear the sunglasses and we can get a wig. What kind of a wig should we have? Wait. Let's see here. He would give me deals on commissions when I would beg. Also, the calendar was very nice every year. No, because we will get all the COVID money, folks. What do you think? Is the Day Trader Paradise guy Matt? Named Matt? Or are you talking about Matt Trades? So let me tell you. Matt Trades, who has a channel here and has started way after us and has become way more successful. And I've never sat and watched through one of his streams, but I have watched a couple of his one-off videos and he seems like a good guy. I don't, I'm not a fan of his strategy and some of the ways that he trades. I'm not going to say that it's reckless because he's doing it on combines, but there are certain things that, whatever. So I think that guy is great. Now, Day Trader Paradise is a different one. So I've never sat and watched through a whole thing on Day Trader Paradise. But the thing that concerns me about Day Trader Paradise was that he came out and was like advertising on social media, like actually taking out real ads from day one. Like literally the day he set up his stream, I saw it because he was putting ads out. And he was very much playing it up. Like, I thought it was funny. His whole thing was like, I have this awesome computer setup. And I'm like, well, his setup isn't much different from mine. And I never really made a big deal out of my setup because I didn't really care. Oh, so you're saying no because we'll get all the COVID money, folks. No, that's like the whole point, Ace, right? So here's what we're going to do. Is I can make more than one YouTube channel. So we'll make a separate YouTube channel that will be a parody channel where I can be Stock Market Steve. You get what I mean? And the more people that you can rope into it, the better. So just focusing on futures wouldn't be enough. Just focusing on futures wouldn't be enough, right? Oh, parody. Yes. So what do you think of the name Stock Market Steve? Let's see here. Wait, who's Scuba Steve? Scuba Steve. I'm not sure. Oh, wait, Scuba. Wait, what? I have to watch this now. What is that from? Oh, is this an Adam Sandler thing? Yeah, this is that Adam Sandler movie where he has to watch the kid, huh? And they took the kid to Hooters, yes. I'm Scuba Sam, Scuba Steve's father. What? What's this that John just posted? What do you think of that name? Oh, wait, where did you get that from? Who is that? To be in the scuba squad, you have to be smart. It's an old sitcom. And his name is Steve. Oh, is it Scumbag Steve? Steve is a meme. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. The real Scumbag scheme. What was it? What is this? That's right. That's right. Hold on a second. Okay, yep, there we go, guys. There, come. I'm gonna have to think about how I want to do this. Stock Market Steve has a huge handlebar mustache that he twirls when giving stock advice. Maybe a pearl handle cane. Wait, a pearl handle cane? What? Oh, geez, yeah. Well, I could maybe go and get a wig that's like that and have curly. I don't think that me with curly hair would be like believable. No, I think that I should probably try and do more of a scumbag Steve look with the hat. You're familiar with this meme, right? Can just wear a hat, get a really douchey hat. Where can I go and get a really douchey hat? Has to match your purple over jacket. This will rock. I know, right? So the thing is like, we can do it just like our technical analysis. But I'm wondering like how will I keep the content up? You know what I mean? Like I have a couple of ideas to start with, but and also how can I do it like I wanted to incorporate TikTok too. Wonder managing multiple accounts on TikTok, how that goes. I should look into that. But here's the thing. I think that the brand, I think it's good. I think we're good. Stock Market Steve, Scumbag Steve is already a thing. You're already rocking the... Oh, man. You're the second person to tell me that now. I had never heard of that guy until somebody told me on TikTok that I looked like Johnny Sins, and I had never heard of him before, but apparently he's a porno actor. And I looked at it and was like, you know what? Kind of does, yeah. Look up Huggy Bear. No, so here is the Stock Market Steve YouTube channel. Okay, now I have to go and find a hat and maybe some sunglasses. But here, oh, where are we? No, not there. Not there. Oh, here we are. Okay, it's like, where's the YouTube chat? That's the look that we're going for. I can get a cane. Oh, it's just so bad my eye today. I need to go and change it. Well, it's 9:30, so I gotta get going, I guess. But there, I posted the link there in the channel, so y'all can go and subscribe to Stock Market Steve. Now we'll see if I can get any content. Because the thing is I can just make content with my phone for Stock Market Steve. Like, it doesn't even have to be high quality stuff, right? So. And then we can just come in and be like, we can just pick we can have a bunch of random strategies going, and we can just pick which one did the best that day and show him. And, every day. Oh, we did so great. Why do you stop at 9:30? Because I have work. I work a day job. And also, not many people watch after that. Anyways, so that's the European close. Usually it's not this week, but normally it would be the European close. So the bald truth. Secrets of Success from the Locker Room to the Bedroom. The Bald Truth by David Falk. That's funny. Only because he won't quit and take the plunge. No, I really don't think I would do well trying to trade full-time. No, sir. Do you work from home? Right now I work from home. I used to have to drive in. That's why we usually would only go till 8:30. But maybe now we get to do this for forever. I tend to trade better when I'm able to trade that last hour, at least in the treasuries. So sometimes in the treasuries, you get a good little move there into the 8:30 to 9:30. Not today, but anyways. So you guys got all got that link, Stock Market Steve. So go and we got one subscriber now. And I will go and make YouTube video. I will make videos with my phone for Stock Market Steve. I'll go and I'll use TD Ameritrade, or no. What should we use? What would be the most douchebag platform? Well, I mean, the most common platform for stocks is going to be Thinkorswim. So I think I should just use Thinkorswim demo, but here's Seth and I hanging out. Wait, Lex Luthor gets a Superman thing at some point? You know what? So my son, he has like bronze blonde hair. So I really feel like the correct costume for us is I should be this right here. This is me, and that's Asher. That's what I think. That's what we got. I'm gonna go after, before the baby goes to bed. I'm gonna try and get a picture like that, and we'll put it on my Twitter and Facebook. My hair is so fabulous. My barber charges me double. What? No, no. You know what? I'm not gonna say anything. Not gonna say anything. Oh man. Oh, so today was a day, man. Oh, that's a line from a TV show. Yeah, we're gonna go and we're gonna see if I can get him to pose like that with his hand out. Oh, it's from Archer? Okay. Okay. So, subscribe to the Stock Market Steve channel. And I will see you guys on Monday. And in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.